Well, today, as we continue our look at some of the commandments of the New Testament, we turn to the first epistle that the Apostle John wrote. We also know that John wrote the Gospel of John. We know he wrote two little epistles following 1 John, and he was the author of Revelation. So he is the author of the final books written in the New Testament, where some of the other books were written in the 50s and 60s AD. John's writings were some years later in the late 80s, the 90s. Some even believe a little bit later than that. And so he is the last one to write the inspired New Testament texts. And we're looking at 1 John and this gospel. So the church has grown up a little bit in the last 30, 40 years since Paul had written his first epistles. Things have changed. There's new challenges, but some of the things are the same as well. So John writes to a congregation of people, and we're going to look at some of the more familiar commandments that he has in 1 John, starting with chapter 2 and looking at verse 15. And this is probably familiar to you. Do not love the world, nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So our commandment is do not love the world. Now, when he says that, the word here is cosmos, and it's translated world in our New Testament, but it can have different meanings. Sometimes it means the planet. Sometimes it means people. Sometimes it means a world system that is anti-God. So he's not talking about the planet here. He's not saying don't love the nature, don't love the planet. Quite the contrary. God has given us this world that for now to enjoy and to appreciate the many beauties that he's given us wherever we can. He's not saying don't love people. For God so loved the world, God so loved people that he sent his only begotten Son. So God loves people, and as we'll see later this week, we are to love people as well. So he's not saying that. So he's using the word world here as a world system, the world view of that is against God, that's anti-God, that opposes God in everything. So he says, don't love that. Don't love a system that is opposed to the ways of God. Don't embrace a worldview that is anti-God. So don't love the world, nor the things in the world. Again, he's not saying that we can't enjoy our family, our friends, our creature comforts, the nature. He's not saying that. But even there, these things in this world, whatever they are, must come in second place to him. There is to be one supreme love in the life of the child of God. And that supreme love is God himself. And everything else is subservient to that supreme love. Yes, love people, love your family, love your friends, love all these things, but always the supreme love of the child of God is him. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So if our heart is fixated on anything really contrary to God himself, then the love of God is not in us. He will not play second fiddle to anyone or anything. Verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the eyes, of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life is not from the Father, but from the world. So he kind of defines here the world system he's talking about. It's a world that's filled up with the lust of the flesh, that is the desires of our sinful self, the things that our sinful, anti-God self wants to do, these things that are the deeds of the flesh, that are opposed to us walking in the Spirit. And the lust of the eyes, maybe the distinction here is with eyes we see superficially. We can see things around us, but we can't see hearts. We really can't see motives. We can't penetrate to the depths of someone, but we can see the surface things. Don't let the surface things control the way you live your life. Or the pride of life. That's selfishness. That's all about me. Don't let these things control you because they're not of God. They're from a world system that is anti-God. Then in verse 17, and the world is passing away. So even at their best, these things are temporary. And the fact that they're temporary should point us back to that which is permanent, that which is eternal. And also its lust, but the one who does the will of God abides forever. And so these things, no matter how good they are in this world system, are merely temporary placeholders. But the one who abides in the Lord, the one who does his will, that person will live forever with him. So these are wonderful promises, wonderful truths, all based on this command, do not love the world, nor the things that are in the world. Great command, not easy always to apply, and yet so important in how we live our lives on this planet at this time.